upfront, but they know what they are doing. It's not necessarily because they know the long-term value of a lead or someone of a client. They know how they are going to make that money back. They only just need you to make that payment upfront. So if you think of your book as a business project, okay, it is a project to get your message into the hands of as many people as possible. It is a project to spread your message. Okay, it is not so important how much you make compared to how far your message gets. It's very important that you plan to make money. Very, very critical and important. Okay, you don't want to write to lose. Okay, but I most especially think in terms of how far your book can fly. And when you think it that way, you want to put all the effort and all the work behind it. Plan it well. Just like you plan for your schooling, just like you plan for your marriage, just like you plan, for your wedding, just like even for marriage. Anything that has to do with your business, spreading your message is a project, and it's something that you should commit a whole lot to. Okay, so that's basically the things I can mention when it comes to why your book is a huge project that somebody should invest a lot of resources into.
I like that. Just the way you plan for your wedding, that's the way you should plan for your book. Amazing, man. Bro, I'm writing down, man. And see, I'm learning. Even with everything that you think I know.
I trust you. That one, I trust you.
See how many things I've written down already. I'm a learner, lifelong learner. Always learning from those who are above me, those who are at my level, those who are below me. I'm always learning. You see, my pages already.
I was in your live video today just before we came online. Immediately I saw you mention that strategy. I put out my book where I frame my thoughts and I wrote it down. That WooCommerce strategy.
Oh, good. Oh, great, yes. Great. Awesome. Okay, so the next thing we are going to be looking at right now, what are the essentials if you want to plan your book, all right, so that the book can become a phenomenal success and can sell? Because our target here for everybody who is part of this academy is that from the next time that they're launching their book, they should have a minimum of 1,000 sales in less than 90 days. So a minimum of 1,000 sales of the books in less than 90 days. So what are those essentials when it comes to planning? Just the same way you plan for a baby to arrive, right?
Yes.
For example, I give a particular example with my wife. Every time that my wife takes in, I start paying every week. So every week she's going to the hospital. That's the truth. Every week she's going to the hospital and she spends a minimum of 6,000 naira. And then before the baby comes, I have put away double the amount of the money that she's supposed to spend at the hospital. Just like the last baby that we had took us by surprise and had some issues. Then the money doubled. I mean, the money was more. But that's how I usually plan. That's how I don't wait till the baby is about coming. Then start calling your friends. Oh boy, my wife they won't deliver our bed. Don't help your guy.
So seed.
So seed. You know. So right from the time the thing don't enter, you know, as my wife confirms that she's pregnant, I start putting away money for antenatal, for everything up until the time that the baby comes forth. So there won't be pressure when the baby is coming, and then you start running around asking your friends to come and donate money for to pay hospital bills, except in cases of emergencies that you never really envisage, right? So let's look at it from that perspective. So a book is like a baby that is coming forth. How do we plan for the baby to come forth? The essentials.
Okay, so in terms of the essentials, there is a 4-stage process. For the 4 stages to book launch, and each of these stages have things. Okay, so I'm trying to be as graphic as possible so that we can paint a picture of what I'm saying. So there are basically 4 stages, and each of those stages need to have 4 things. One is a goal, the activity for that stage, a budget for that stage, and the strategic partnerships that you have for that stage.
Please repeat.
So there are 4 stages, and each of those stages need to have a goal, an activity. A goal, an activity, a budget, and the strategic partnerships or relationships.
Awesome.
For that stage. So the 4 stages are, the first stage is the pre-launch. So the pre-launch is basically starts from when the idea for your book hits your head. I can call the pre-launch stage the definition stage. So at that stage, what you are doing is to vet your idea and start warming up your audience to the idea of that book. So that's what you do in the pre-launch stage. There was a client that I had, immediately she got the idea for the book. She was still confused about the topic. The first thing that we did, and you need to think of everything as marketing. Once you have concluded in your mind that you will launch your book, you need to think of everything as a marketing stunt or a marketing strategy. So what we did was that we did a poll where we put together all the titles that she had in mind for her book. And then I told her to send it to her community, let them choose a title. So from there, she has started warming up her audience to so she has not even gotten the idea of a title, but she's already presenting it before them, and it's a pre-launch strategy. And then you are warming up your audience to that. The thing you do in the pre-launch also is that you get to get feedback from your audience. So a simple post like, hello guys, I'm thinking of writing a book on this. Is there anything that you'll be interested in learning about this topic? Or you want me to treat about this topic? A simple post like that on Facebook. So when you make a post like that, it gives you the ability, the opportunity to listen to your audience, find out the specific interest, the kind of problems that they want solved for them, the kind of needs they have, the kind of thoughts they are thinking, the kind of future they'll be interested in. So when you think of in that way, that is a pre-launch thing. Another thing that you do in your pre-launch is to set your targets. Is to define your launch assets. So your launch assets are basically things that have to do with your platforms. So what are the platforms that you have, especially in terms of numbers and engagement? So if you have a Facebook group, you have an email list, do you even have all those things? You have a Facebook group, you have a WhatsApp group, because you are going to sell on your platforms, most importantly, and then leveraging other people's platform, which I'll come to. But most importantly, you need to get your own yard in order. How many email subscribers do you have? Your website? Do you have a website? Do you need a social media platform, your Facebook page? How many likes do you have? And all those things. So that's the thing. Another thing about your launch assets are your relationships that you have. Who are the people that you know? That, especially in your industry or maybe outside your industry also, people that will be interested in helping you promote your book. Like this, what you're doing is taking stock. The next thing you do is the tools. So do you have a payment gateway? Do you have a landing page builder? Your email marketing platform, is it set up? Those are tools. So this is the second thing in terms of definition that you do. The first thing is your audience, basically getting to know your audience, what they are interested in and all those things. The second thing is your launch assets. Then the third thing in the pre-launch stage is to set your targets. So they are, I hope I'm not being too fast.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So is to set your targets. There are 3 types of targets that you set when it has to do with book launches. The first thing is your reach target. So your reach target is how I calculate reach. Okay, reach is not the people that buy. Reach basically means the people that at least get to see your book. Okay, so how I actually calculate that is the number of people who get to your landing page, who view your landing page. So basically ask yourself, how many people do I want to reach my landing page? This is basically like a brand building and awareness kind of target. Okay. So the second type of target that you set is your community building target. A community building target is how many people do you want to join, example, your Facebook group, your email list. And we had a client that we worked with And one of the things that we did was for her was to set a target of, her group was about 600 and sorry, her group was about 200 when we started. And the idea was to get the group to, I think it was 500. Yes, 500 when we started. So the idea was to get the group to over 1,000 people. So 1 month to that time, we started all the market. Now our group is about 1,200 people right now. And today is, in fact, the final day of the launch, the final day of the pre-order. So basically that was a target that we set. The last thing that you set now as a target is your sales target. Now, one of the things that we need to know when it comes to book marketing is that your sales will be influenced by how many people that you know, that you have basically in your audience. When I talk about audience, how I calculate audience is your Facebook group, your email list, your Facebook group or email list, Facebook page like, and all those things. But for me, basically what I use to calculate is your Facebook group and your email list. And we need to know that averagely, in terms of in the market, you expect only 1 to 3% of your audience to buy. So don't expect that you have less than 200 people in all those platforms and you expect 1 million sales. Unless you are going to get Buhari to personally promote your book.
At this point, is that why people get angry on Facebook when they say, I have 5,000 friends and I have only one sale, nobody's buying? In short, let me start removing all my friends. That's the reason.
That's the reason. Because what happens is that those 5,000 friends, are they people who are interested in your message? It could just be all the people from your village and your church that you have gathered right when you do not know anything. When you do not know anything, okay, and you've gathered all those people and you have 5,000 friends, and the best you get is congratulations, deep, awesome, wow, thanks, and all those things. But in terms of why I talk about Facebook group and email list is because why I talk about Facebook group and email list is because it takes an effort for somebody to want to join your group. It takes a special kind of interest and thinking for somebody to want to join your group. Especially if your group is well targeted, it takes a special kind of interest and thinking for somebody to join your mailing list. So that's basically the 4 things when it comes to the pre-launch. One is to set your audience. The second thing is your launch assets, and the